And then, so they wheel you in, put this sheet up over your face, and then they start whatever they're doing behind the sheet. And I was just shitting myself. I was petrified. It was just so, like, everything just happened all at once and was not what I wanted to happen at all. And then they're like, oh, here's the head, it's out already. And I was like, what? That was quick. I didn't even know you were doing anything. So I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. That was good. And then I start hearing these like machine buzzing and beeping and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, what is it? What's going on? And there's people talking to me that, like, there were so many people in the room, and they're going, it's all right, it's just like normal sounds and that, which I found out later was that my baby was born and wasn't breathing, and they had to suck all this stuff out of her lungs and try to get her to breathe, and it took forever, and they were starting to panic. When I got to the recovery room, I was like, I'm so cold. And I just started shaking so bad. I was like, oh my God, why am I shaking? I can't stop shaking. They were like, oh, there's so much blood. And they were just like taking sheets of blood away and just like throwing it in the bin. And all I see is these like sheets and sheets of blood. And it's just coming and coming and coming. They were trying to get my pulse, and they couldn't get my pulse. And I was just lying there and I was like, shit, am I dying? And I was like, no, I'm not. And I just like snapped in my head. I was like, no way, I'm not gonna die. Really, just like the shaking would stop for like a few seconds, and then I was like, oh my God, it's going away. And it was just like the biggest relief ever. And then, so then I had to go and get wheeled down to the ICU, and I had to stay there for 2 days. And I had all these leads off me. I had like drips and that, and I had like 2 blood transfusions. It was just like putting all this blood into me and all this stuff, and yeah, and then so I was sitting there just like couldn't do anything, couldn't move. I hadn't seen my baby this whole time, only that once when they showed her, when they pulled her out. I just wanted to see her. It was all I wanted was to see her, and they were like, no, you can't, because she has to stay there and you have to stay here. The head nurse lady comes in and she's like, they just called to see if it's okay if they bring your baby down. And they wanted to know if he was sleeping, but I told them that you wouldn't care. And I was just so happy. I was like, yes, of course I want to see her. And I was just lying there waiting. It felt like forever. It was only probably like 5 minutes. I just had tears like streaming down my face. I was so happy that I was going to see her. And they brought her in and she was like screaming, and they like sat her on me, and she went quiet and she was happy to be with me. And I was just like, it was the best moment ever.